Today on Yorkshireman models we're going to be starting on the workbench the Dogfight doubles Airfix, as you can see, and it's the MiG 17 and the Douglas A4B Skyhawk. It is the set where you get paints, 2 brushes and some glue. Personally I won't be using the glue. The brushes might come in handy. I'm not so sure about the paints because I've had this set for probably a good 6 months now, and I do know sometimes these paints start and get a bit dried up. We'll see what they're like. If they're usable, I might use some. But it's all in, oh, just move it on a bit, sorry. It's all 1/72 scale, that's the both aircraft. You've got a bit of bump on the sides telling you, as you can see. This is the main side you want to see, I believe, if anybody's really interested, but there's the info about the aircraft. And there's your 2 actual decal schemes that it looks like you get there. And as you can see, it's a skill level 2 and you get 2 flying hours. So, without further ado, we'll get into the box and we'll see what we've got. I'm going to be doing the actual Douglas Skyhawk first, because I recently did, I think it was a MiG 15 or something like that, similar to that, but I think the Skyhawk is the one that I want to do first because it's a bit different. Not done it before. Oops, did this the wrong way around. So we've got 1 bag of sprues there. That looks like the MiG. Not 100% sure, I'm just saying it looks like it there. We've got the stand, because you get that with it to put them both on. We've got, that's the Skyhawk there. The Skyhawk in that bag. And here, as you can see, we've got the paints, the glue, the brushes, the actual instructions, and I'm presuming, and it is, yeah, there you go, you've got your decal sheet there. So, we'll get it out, we'll get it started. We'll get that Skyhawk built and eventually we'll get the MiG and then we'll put it on the stand and see how we do. Hopefully it'll look great. Well, as usual we're starting with seat, so I've cut my pieces off already, sanded them with a sanding stick and made sure there's no bits of sprue left on. And as you could see there, just using my Tamiya extra thin cement to glue them. More of the actual cockpit tub here, just gluing it together like so. Pretty simple, and instructions are fantastic, really make it easy. You just push the seat in like that and it's fine. This bit, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't 100% sure where to put it, and I did look quite a few times at that, but yeah, it seems to just sit on end like that. We're making up part of the engine section now and exhaust and all that part, so you're putting some bits together like so. And again, they all fit together nice. They have like interlocking pieces so you can see where they're meant to go. Same here. And you're making quite a few of these mini subframes, we want to call them up, before you actually start building out towards the fuselage itself. So all of these are going to go inside. That piece there was slightly deformed, if you can just see, but it's still glued together well, and in all honesty you can't see it. Now it's in, now I finished the kit itself, you can't see that, but it was slightly deformed. It shows you inside that section there where the intake is, where the air goes in, it's white, so I'm spraying that up first just to make sure when I come to actually paint the aircraft it will stay white. So here I'm just putting the interior of the cockpit colour in, which is grey. It's just a general grey that I've got. I've not got no special for it, don't need to. And the decal, there's a couple here. There's one on the for instrument panel there, and there's a couple on each side as well. To be honest with you, it's not the most detailed cockpit in the world, but it's certainly not the worst. It's very passable. It's all right. You can't complain really for what it is. But yeah, I'll just press my decals in with a cotton bud like this, just to make sure you get any water, or if you're using any kind of solution to stick them, just make sure you get it out so it takes well. Saying that, you can't see much of it in all honesty when it's all together. And I'm just putting the figure in now, and it does tell you to put the figure in early, and looking at it, it's probably the best idea, because he ain't the easiest to get in there. He does go in, there's no fear on that. There you go. You just have to force him a little bit just to get his legs through. When they are, it will go in and sit in straight, like so. I've not done a lot with figure painting, it's just a quickie that I did on it. So this is the Tamiya, I'd call it white glue, but it's just your normal Tamiya cement. I call it white because it's lid colour. But I put that in because it takes longer to dry, so it allows you to move stuff about and get them into place better. But more than all, I tend to find it works better for all the paint that's already on there. It'll eat into it a bit more to allow the actual section to stick well together. I will put a little bit of the extra thin around certain edges where I've not put that glue, as you can see. So just to help it to bite in. I'm putting a bit of weight in now. And this is a thing everybody forgets now and then. It's what I find that I do anyway, and I know a lot of other modelers that do. Forget to put the right amount of weight in the front. So what I do is I just overdo it. It's better to overdo it a bit than under, because if you're under, it will still be tail heavy no matter what. So what I tend to do is get a couple of ball bearings or whatever roughly right weight is. Some scales do help to get it, but what I'll then do is pack as much as I can and my old blue tack around it. That'll give it that extra weight to make sure it will sit nose heavy. Not that it matters too much on this kit, because we're building this as a dogfight double, so it's going to be on a stand anyway. But that's what I do no matter what. I always put it in. I say that, always. There's been a couple I ain't. I think everybody's done it. And just gluing it together now. It's very simple. You can see there, it all fits together lovely. There's going to be a bit of sanding and that after on the seam lines once you've glued it all up. But other than that, it's pretty good. And you're just going round with this Tamiya extra thin and just sealing it up like that. If you don't use a Tamiya extra thin or a similar version, then when you're actually gluing it together, you need to get that glue on that joint before you stick it together. Otherwise, you're just going to leave a big smear. Don't try and put that normal Tamiya cement on. You'll leave a big smear of glue instead, trying to do it the way that I've done it there. Wings, very simple. Just clip together. There is a couple of mould marks where the raised edges. Just make sure when you put it together that they actually do sit well like that. I had to cut a couple off with the knife on the other side that I've already done, and the reason for that was that the mould pips were just pushing it up a little bit. As soon as I shaved them off a bit, sat lovely. This I'm fiddling with, wondering thing it, but once you get it there, once you get to that point, just click straight in. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful and easy. See, I put a bit of filler already on the bottom bit there because there were a bit of a gap. Don't ask me why. But other than that, yeah, pretty good. Just make sure you get a bit down there. Helps pull the fuselage and the wing together if you just press it in a bit. You're never going to make it a perfect seam unless it's a super fit. This isn't exactly a super fit, so if you need to use any filler just down them seams, it's fine. These tail pieces just glue straight in, fit in lovely, nice and straight, no problem. So we're not doing any undercarriage art, so we're putting the pieces in now like this. Not perfect fit, but then again, it's alright. It's not the worst. I think it's more designed for having the actual undercarriage down than it is for up like this. But it's alright, it does the job as it's meant to, and that's the main thing. So like that, there's no locating pins for them, if you can see. So you have to push it into place, and like this. You're messing, that's what you're doing. But you gain it into roughly the right place. Let the glue go off a little bit, and it'll be fine. And the external pieces on wings now. And it's easier, I find, just to let it sit there and put a bit of glue on and then just press her in than it is to try and hold it into place. As soon as I try and hold it, it seems to push it all over. So a bit of glue on so she starts to take a bite, and then just press her in. That's all you have to do. Like so. This is the arrestor for when it's landing on aircraft carriers, stuff like that. And that just glues there. There's a couple of the point where you've put in there, and a little bit on the actual hook itself underneath it, just so it actually glues a bit there. That's all you need, the glue. You don't need it all the way down it, because some of that's actually off of the aircraft itself. These are fiddly, but once they're in, they look fantastic. Perfect fit. Well, it was for mine anyway. I'll say that much. I have heard when people, I put mine, they go, yours went together fantastic, mine were a nightmare. Just sometimes you get a bad kit. You do get a bad, it's made bad, mould bad, whatever, and you can have a nightmare. It only has to be off a tiny bit. Just gluing in the places where the guns sit now. And we're putting on the rails for the bombs, missiles, whatever else you're putting on. They do glue on alright, they're okay, they've got locating pins, so you're alright, it's not a problem. Just have to make sure that they're lined up straight, and they're fine. Right, my whole plan was to have it on the stand with the other, with the MiG, should I say. But I was going to put this on underside, I believe it's the external fuel tank. So you've got your rail here that goes in, but it's going over where you've drilled for your holes for your actual holder. Now I've had a look at the holder, and in fact I'll show you it right now. Those two there, that's where that fits into holes. There's no way you're going to get that in there with this on at all. And even worse when if you put the external fuel tank on, because that's sitting even further back like that. So what I'm going to do is do it as if it's not got an external fuel tank, and I'm just going to fill these two holes, because I ain't going to get the holder in there. I could probably try and move it further back, but it's drilled, it's ready for it there, so I'll just put a little bit of filler in them too and leave it as it is. Still have my missiles on here, which I've already got ready. It's just a shame that I can't put the external fuel tank on. Right, spraying down the black primer. This is a stage you don't have to do. A lot of people do it, a lot of people don't. It's all preference. I like my kits to have a nice fresh all even coat of colour. A lot of people will use grey or browns for the primer, because it does make a difference sometimes on the colour that you're seeing after. Preferably for me is my black, but I use Mr. Surface primer and I find it fantastic. But I've used loads of different primers and I never have a problem really with any. But like I say, you can just skip to this stage. So now I'm spraying down my colour now. So my main top colour like this, the grey. Now I try and get into the, what do you say, crevice areas what are hard to, they're not just big flat areas. I try and get into them, get a good layer of paint in them, because I tend to find if you end up going back after, they're the areas where you can over flood it. And the paint's going on lovely as usual. What I will say is if you've got a really, really fine sandpaper, once you put your primer on, just get a blast over. Right, I'm spraying my white on now, and I've got the other side's mask ready to go as well, because there's some areas you'll see in a minute what need to be white as well. but I've gone it all grey because the white will look, I think it will look better when it's onto a grey rather than the actual black. But you can see there it's not coming out very well out of the airbrush, so I'm going to take my nozzle off because I think what's happening is it's drying on the tip a bit too quick. Clean it off, just make sure it's all right, make sure it's coming out, and you can see already that's better. So all of this is now just going to get sprayed underneath all white, and the areas on the top that need doing as well. Now this front bit here is like a darker grey, so masked off, ready. You can see my white parts there, what I've had to leave while doing white. I'm using a bit of gauzy agent just to give it a glossy finish so then I can put my decals on. This stuff goes on really quick, dries like lightning, but I will say it's still better to leave it, especially overnight if you can, because I don't know why, but a couple of times I've found I've like reactivated the product a tiny bit, and when I've been putting my decals on, mainly with the Tamiya decal solutions, maybe it's just a little bit too, as they say, hot for it. It's a bit too strong. But decals I just put on like this using tweezers, brush, usual. You'll see it on a lot of my videos, and I've shown some videos with how I normally put decals on if you want to look up some of my videos with that. I'm just going to show you now with this big one, because the cartograph decals, and if you get them nice, the surface, a little bit of wet underneath, moisture underneath. I mean, I'm using my decal solution in these brush pens. Again, another plug. There's another video about them if you want to look it up. But you can move them about. Put a bit of water on like that, and you can easily move them about. And you can see here, even big decals like this, there's a little bump there that's stopping the decal sliding quite as nice, but you can see they're easily manoeuvrable, but you only get so long. You're not going to sit there for 10 minutes doing that. You'll end up ripping the decal apart. So once you've got it where you're happy, press it in like so, and then you're just chasing then the air bubbles out. Well, yeah, brilliant camera work there. But yeah, you're just chasing it out, and then just leave it to dry. And I usually put another solution over the top that helps them even more soak in, conforming to like panel lines and stuff like that. But remember, none of this is needed. You can just put them on with water and they will go on fine. What I've been doing is a solution that I find works really well and stops the silvering as much. This is just a very, very thin panel wash with it's made with is it burnt umber, sorry, a really thin amount of burnt umber with thinners, and just paint it on top like this. And then what I'll do is I'll wipe it off. I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, it just helps panel lines a little bit, and it's going to stop it looking so super clean and new. Now, I know a lot of people don't like doing panel washes and they like to just go into the panel lines themselves. That's fine, sometimes I do that, but on lots of aircraft like this, it's just as easy to do it like that. And then you just rub it off with a bit of cloth. I will say, before I did my panel lining and washing, whatever you want to call it, before I did any of this, I know in any kit, I will always go over with the varnish again, the gloss varnish, and then that way it allows the excess to be rubbed off really, really, really easy. If you don't do that, you probably regret it, because you'll struggle to get it off, in all honesty. It can be an absolute pain. But yeah, you can see how much is coming off on the tissue there. Nearly knocked that over, did you see? That's why I get it thumbs up. But yeah, you can see the amount of difference you've got there from a panel that had got it on to it now coming off there. You can use the cotton bud as well to get off where it's a bit in areas where you can't get in right. Does help as well. So this is flat varnish now, and I put that on, seals everything in, tones everything down so it looks a more neutral, non-glossy, should I say. Obviously if you're doing cars and stuff like that, what you want the glossiness, you're not going to put that on, but I've already painted up the guns and that. I'm just putting them into place now. A little bit of Revel cement there. What I do there, you can see in my little tub. These are old Tamiya jars that I reuse. And what I do is I grind up some charcoal sticks out like that, and then I just get a brush and just put it on like that. Just rub it in a bit, and it is fine. And it's just to simulate a little bit of the darker discoloration you get, the smokiness, the soot, whatever you want to call it, around like exhausts and where guns are, that kind of thing. That is just what I like to do. Some people don't like doing it and won't do, but personally I do. I mean, you can go a long way with exhaust, and you can start painting your blues and your red tones and stuff like that into it to make it look like metal's been hot, cooled down, and it gets that kind of look. But for these 172 scale kits, that's a lot to do. I find anyway. Putting on the Canopy, and this is just a plain old simple, we call it white glue, but it's purple glue from what we use here, and it's brilliant. Dries completely clear, but any kind of white glue that dries clear, brilliant for putting canopies on. You can't mess with them for a bit after you've done it, but they are fine. Right, you don't get a decal for this. You've actually got to paint this like that. It is very fine, very finicky, and I'm just showing you how I did it. And I'm not going to say it's perfect, because I don't think it is, because in all honesty the lines would have been a lot better than what I've done, but I've done it to give it as it's meant to. This is a refueling probe going in now. I've painted that up again before. And as you can see, I'm using a bit of cotton buddy, a bit of tissue. Too much glue's come out me needle on that Revel one there. So I'm just letting it soak it up. I'm not moving it about. I'm just putting a little tip of that in. It'll soak it up. So when I put this in, it's not going to squeeze out everywhere. Well, I hope that's what's going to happen. But yeah, that's alright. Right, putting ordnance on now, and it's just a bit of glue on there. Don't go mad, it'll just go everywhere, literally. So a bit on each, and then it's just place them on as you want to make sure they're nice and lined up, and it should be fine. But try and leave the model upside down, because if not, there's a possibility they're just going to fall off without you noticing them. Has that happened to me? Yeah, once or twice. Not many, but every now and then you'll put them on and you'll think it's dried enough, turn it around other way, and then forget about it. When you come back to it, they're off for it. It turned out to be a lovely build. It looks absolutely fantastic if you ask me. I think these decals, you can't not cartograph. They are absolutely good. Once they've, especially when you've flattened them down with your matte varnish or whatever, I think they look absolutely sweet. Really do look well. But there you go. I am a bit cheesed off, as they say about that, where you can't have your fuel tanks or your extra ordnance or anything like that you'd like on it, because obviously, yeah. But other than that, happy. As you can see, I've not done a lot of weathering on it. I've just done a pin wash and a bit of smoke effects, and I think that's enough for me. So I've got the MIG to build and the stand for it as well, and hopefully you'll be around to watch that to make it a bit easier for you. If you subscribe to the channel and click to get notifications, you'll get told when I put that video up. But I'd be grateful if any of you can just give me a thumbs up for the video. It'd be really appreciated, because it's that what tells YouTube and the people who subscribe as well, tells them how the channel's doing, what's popular on it. So thanks a lot. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you around for next time. See you later.